this next speaker, real personal to me, and I have to say that I don't even know if I've said that to him before, but I'm so very proud to be David Drigger's friend. I've watched David Drigger's, mature from our early days in college to the man he's become right now, and it's so neat when we look back at our lives of where we were, what we thought we knew, and what we're doing right now. And David Driggers has been helping. He's been helping youth the right way, like on the ground, going to schools, working in churches, making music that matters, like real positive music, but still stuff that I would listen to in the car all day long. Dave thinks in order to achieve your goals, you have to be uncomfortable being uncomfortable, or better yet, he says making awkward normal. Let's put our hands together. David Driggers, his presentation called Trophies. Trophies, 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 trophies. Love you, brother.
Edmonton, how you guys doing? All right. Jesse, thank you. I couldn't have said it better myself. Jesse and I go back to college. We've grown, we've matured together. We started out as young teenagers thinking we had all the answers, right? And then we started to grow, we matured, and we realized our mistakes that we made along the way to get us where we are today. We needed to turn back around and make sure we create a better path for those coming behind us, which is you guys today. One more time, well, he's not in here, but anyway, I just want to give a round of applause to Julie and Jesse, if you guys can join me in giving them a round of applause for putting this together. And as Jesse stated, I also do Christian hip-hop / urban inspiration. So yes, I am a rapper, right? But I'm here today to talk to you guys for a little while. Over the last few days, there's been tons of conversations about making it awkward for a lot of closed-minded individuals that we may encounter in our day-to-day lives. We identify ways to help them understand that their siloed way of living isn't the only way. But today, we're here for the youth. And as a young person, believe it or not, the future of the world is yours, right? So what I need you guys to do, anybody under the age of 25, I need you to stand to your feet with me. Wow. First, give yourselves a hand, first and foremost. Awesome. This is awesome. So while you're standing, I need you to do me a favor. Repeat after me. Change. 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 It starts with me. It starts with me. No, we got to do that again. I wasn't convinced. I'm not convinced. Changed. Change. Change. It starts with me. It starts with me. Change. Change. I can be whatever I want to be. If you guys believe it, give yourselves another round of applause. All right, you guys can have a seat. Thank you. So with that being said, as long as you believe that, you don't have to worry about anything else. You're going to achieve your goal, okay? So when I was a young person, when I was maybe 10 and under, I had dreams and aspirations as well, right? Just like you guys do. There's something you're working towards. There's something you're striving to obtain, whether it's to help change the world as it is today, whether it's to advance technology, advance healthcare or medical practices, whatever it may be. We know that you're aspiring towards something, right? Now, when I was young, I wanted to be a ninja. I wanted to be a Ninja Turtle at that. Hey, Quentin, I wanted to be Raphael. Those sides were bad, man. All right? I wanted to be a fighter pilot. I wanted to be a firefighter. But then as I got older, I started to realize the danger and the risk associated with those professions. And I said, you know what? I'm going to stick to being a firefighter on a video game. I'm going to stick to Ninja Turtles in cartoons. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to go that route. I'm going to stick to sports because that's what I was good at, right? Now, we all want to achieve these goals and become great. And in doing so, we're going to face adversity. We're going to face a little defeat. Eventually we're going to face success and triumph. We're going to be challenged physically, mentally, and spiritually. all to stand on top of a podium, right? Or all to receive that satisfaction, that gratification of achieving a trophy. Now, and this trophy can be physical, whether you're in a sports competition. This trophy can be metaphorical, as in achieving what you set out to achieve when you first started your journey, right? So today, I want to talk to you about these trophies and what it takes to get there. And if you were to ask anyone who has already become successful, who has achieved their goals, who has, climbed that mountain, right, and stood on top of that podium and gotten their gold medal, they would tell you, in order to do something you've never, or receive something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done. You got to step out of your comfort zone. You got to be comfortable being uncomfortable, okay? And as Jesse said, making awkward normal, okay? Now, Jesse and I both had at Morehouse College in Atlanta, we had the same track and field coach. We didn't always agree with his training tactics, right? Now, as a track and field athlete, I was a sprinter, right? Short distances, run real fast for a short period of time, I'm done. I want to go sit down. I'm tired, right? Now, Jesse was a high jumper. He may run 5 feet, then jump and leap over a high crossbar, short, okay? Now, our coach with these unorthodox methods would have us carrying one another on our backs, running up hills on all fours, crawling across a 100-yard football field or 110 meters, crawling across the field. And we're like, what does that have to do with track? I run in a straight line for about 10 seconds, and I'm done. I don't have to carry anybody on my back. I don't have to carry a bag, no weight whatsoever. Long story short, as I got older, I grew to find out that these unconventional methods was taking us out of our comfort zone. It was challenging us mentally, challenging us physically, and also spiritually to go beyond what our normal was. My normal was running in a straight line for 10 seconds, but the fact that I was able to run in that straight line took me longer than 10 seconds with somebody on your back. I think I actually had to carry Jesse a couple times. Go figure, right? Putting that strain on myself physically actually allowed my normal to be a lot easier because I was able to take myself mentally beyond what I thought I could, right? So with that said, let's talk about the why. Why are we looking to take on the chase of this trophy? Why are we looking to become successful or push forward our society? Okay, let's make sure we have the right reasons. Okay, Quinn and Aaron actually spoke to it. Let's not do this for the fame. It's not about it, right? The fame, the lights, the bright lights, yes, it looks good, but it's not. It comes with a lot of responsibility that some of us are not prepared for. Me, I don't do it for the fame. I don't do it for the lights. I don't do it to be popular and get followers on social media. I do it because I did not have anybody paving the way for me that I can reach out to and touch. So the fact that I'm able to have a platform, I want to turn around and, like I said, smooth out the path for those coming behind me, okay? Now, about these journeys that we're set out on, the one thing I need you to understand is your journey is what makes you unique, okay? Now, there may be somebody else that's on the same journey as you, but your path that you're going to take are going to be unique. All right? There's also someone on the same journey as you that's a little bit further ahead. But guess what? I need you to do me a favor. Do not compare your start to their middle or their end. Okay? You're just getting started. You keep moving. I don't care what they post on Instagram or Twitter saying they're doing this, that, and the third. All right? You're just starting out. You need to keep moving forward. If anything, let where they are be motivation. Okay? The second piece is, don't let anybody deter you from your dream or from your goal. People are going to talk about it. You're going to meet people along the way. They're not going to agree with it. Why? Who knows? And honestly, who cares? You have a purpose. We all have individual purposes, and we need to move forward in that same mindset. Okay? Secondly, trust the process. You got to have patience. It's not going to happen like that. Yeah, I know we live in a day where you have information in the palm of your hand right away, right? But it's always not about instant success. You know, there's a phrase that I like, or a quote that I like to use, where I'd rather take time and build it the right way, right? Rather than build it quickly and then everything falls apart. All right? Now, on this journey, there's three key pillars that I want to speak to just real quickly. All right? So they all relate to your core, your technique. And your individual goals or whatever path you're on, whatever it is you're striving for, you are either one, self-taught, you read about it, someone has trained you, right? So what we want to label that as your core or your technique, okay? That is your fundamental and your foundation. You got to be disciplined in your core and your foundation. I don't care what's going on around you, stay disciplined, okay? There's a lot of information out here. Some of it's considered fake news. Some of it is real. But when you stick to your core, it'll take away that confusion, and you'll be able to discern what's true and what's not. Okay? Now, I actually look towards others for inspiration from time to time. And one of my favorites that I like to go to, his name is Dr. Eric Thomas, also known as E.T. the hip-hop preacher. Now, there's an analogy when it talks about sticking to your core that he used. There's a story. How many of you guys are familiar with boxing, the sport of boxing? All right? Now, even though I don't always agree with his antics outside of the ring, inside of the ring, he's one of the best. They call him Floyd Money Mayweather. He's undefeated in the ring, right? And the one thing that really baffles me is how much it costs to actually watch his fights. And then his fights to me are boring. For me, I like to watch. When I watch the sport of boxing, I want to see two individuals, man or woman. I want to see them in the middle of the ring going toe to toe, right? That's what they train for, to spar with one another. I don't want to see them running around the ring dancing. If I wanted to see that, I watch figure skating or track and field or something, right? So, but when Eric Thomas was talking about Floyd Mayweather, he pointed out something very profound, and that was, you know what makes him so good is the fact why he's never lost is because he sticks to his core. He sticks to his technique. Now, imagine in the ring with Floyd Mayweather, and you can't hit him. No matter how many punches you throw at him, you are not able to land one. But when he swings at you, he just keeps hitting you. Tell me that's not frustrating. So what happens is this person he's boxing, or his opponent, becomes frustrated. And when they become frustrated, they abandon their core, they abandon their technique, right? So instead of keeping their defenses up, they drop their guard a little, and they're just doing anything they can to land a punch. So they're throwing, when you throw a jab, you usually throw it straight and you come back and protect your chin. But because you've abandoned your technique, because you're frustrated or you're in your feelings or you're emotional, right? You start throwing wild punches and you're not defending yourself. So what happens is Floyd Mayweather takes over. He then starts to take advantage of those openings, and eventually you find yourself laying on the canvas. Okay? So David, what are you talking about? What's your point? Stick to your core. Stick to your technique. Regardless of what's going on around you, don't get flustered. Okay? There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. Stick to your technique. You were given this skill set, you were taught these things for a reason. Okay? So I need to make sure everybody understands to stick to their core. Now, this is where I want to transition a little bit, because I'm going to need some participation from some of our young folks. Okay? By the show of hand, how many of you guys have Instagram? All right. So I need 2 volunteers, just 2. All right. So let's get one from this side, the young lady here with the burgundy sweatshirt, and the young lady here with the purple jacket. All right, come on up. Give me a hand. Woo. All right. What's your name?
Olivia.
Olivia, where you from?
Edmonton.
So you live in this cold place too. Okay. Nice to meet you, Olivia. And what's your name?
Brittany.
Brittany, and are you here from Edmonton as well?
I'm from Jamaica.
Jamaica? 2 polar opposites. Jamaica, Edmonton. All right. And why did you leave Jamaica to... Don't answer that. Don't answer that. Okay, so I have a challenge for you guys. Okay? So what I need you to do, you have about a minute to do so. I need you to go out into the audience, okay? And I need you to persuade or convince as many people as you can within this minute time frame to follow you on Instagram, okay? And listen, for you guys, I know this is the Make It Awkward Summit. Everybody's being nice, right? But you don't have to follow them if you don't want to. You may not be interested in what they have going on, right? So don't do it just for the sake of this exercise, okay? So, Olivia, Brittany, you have 1 minute to get as many Instagram followers as possible. On your march, get set, go. Huh? Okay. 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 All right, you're down to about 20 seconds. $15, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, time. Olivia and Brittany, come and join me back on stage. Give them a round of applause, everybody. All right. So, Olivia, how many did you get? No, it doesn't count if you're already following her. It doesn't count. These are new acquisitions. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. And Brittany, how many did you get? 8. And you got 8. Honestly, that's an amazing job. So what was the point of this exercise? The point of this exercise was stepping out of your comfort zone, right? I'm not sure what it is you guys are aspiring to be, but eventually you're going to have to walk up to people who know nothing about you, who don't have a clue about what you're trying to do, what you're trying to do. You can be curing world hunger, right? But you have to be able to convince them to do so, to believe in you, right? There's going to be some people who might say, no, I'm not interested. But guess what? Olivia, you move on to the next person, okay? What may not be for for one person can be for the next. Same for you, Brittany. You can create software that makes everybody nice, whatever it may be, right? But there's going to be individuals who say, you know what, I don't want the world to be nice, so no, next person. Again, but we have to keep moving. We don't let one person destroy our dream, okay? Because it's funny how sometimes the person that tells us no, eventually is going to be the person that comes back around later and says yes, right? Or let's look at it this way. To accomplish what it is you're trying to accomplish, you may get 100 no's, but it only takes 1 yes. All right? Y'all got that? All right, give Brittany and Olivia a round of applause. Thank you. So you know what's funny? So did you guys hear what just happened when Olivia sat down? They said, I want one, right? And that's funny because that kind of segues into where I was going next, right? Subconsciously, there's somebody sitting out here right now saying, I could have done better. I could have got 10. I could have gotten more than Brittany. I could have got more than Olivia, right? But it's okay. That's good. Let's use that as fuel. Let's not be negative, right? There's nothing wrong with friendly competition. But then on the flip side of that, some of the things you guys are aspiring to do, and excuse my language, is going to piss people off, okay? Because it's going to take them out of their comfort zone. It's going to be awkward for them, okay? There's a saying that people fear what they don't understand, okay? And sometimes we have to sit down and have a conversation with them and help them understand. They may not necessarily agree with us, but at least they understand, and we took that negativity and turned it into at least even kill. Right? Eventually, we'll get them on the positive side of things. All right? Now, I got a funny story where I had somebody who I considered a hater. Everybody know what a hater is, right? Yeah, we all got haters. Yeah. So when I was working with a company a long time ago, he was my peer. We both had the same job description. I came in after him. He trained me. And, he was wide open. Listen, David, you have any questions, let me know. Pick up the phone, give me a call. Yeah, we're going to work this thing out. We're going to be great together. Time goes by. I start to surpass, him as in our role. I started to get a little bit of attention, a little bit more recognition. I was chosen for a lot of the bigger, high visibility projects. And there was times where I needed his help, and I started to get the cold shoulder, right? Was there a little bit of jealousy and envy there? Absolutely, right? So he started to also do little things to sabotage things that I was working on. He would be a part of the team that I was leading. He found various excuses and reasons not to deliver his piece of the project. That was very important, right? So I said, you know what? I got to get this guy a label. I'm not big on labels, but I think this guy's hating. He's jealous because I came in after him and actually started to exceed him, okay? Now, I'm a Christian, okay? I'm a God-fearing man. And I don't know who all was here, but Jane Elliott spoke about the golden rule, right? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Then she kind of flipped it a little bit to say, make sure you understand how people want to be treated before you treat them that way, okay? Now, I took this individual. We were actually out on a company retreat, and I actually pulled them aside and asked him, I was like, hey, can we go have lunch together? Sure. So we went and had lunch together, and we had a conversation. I needed to understand why he was trying to sabotage what we were trying to do. We were teammates, right? Come to find out, he had been passed over for multiple roles within the company, right? And he just thought that I was another number that was going to be passed over for a role or for a promotion that he thought he deserved or he wanted. Come to find out, the promotion that he wanted was someone that was managed by a person that I was working in tandem with on a couple of big projects. So I said, you know what? I don't even know that they know you're looking for that role. So in turn, what I did was go and talk to this manager about my coworker, right? Told him about how awesome he was, okay? And what he was capable of doing and how he would be best fit on his team. 6 months later, he gets the job, right? So what does that mean? I did something nice for my hater, right? Yes, that's hard. Yes, it may not be something you want to do, but give it a try. My youth group back in Atlanta, Georgia, shout out to the movement. I actually challenged them maybe once a week to do something nice for their hater, whether it's helping someone with their books, helping someone study, just doing something nice. It can be sometimes siblings, unfortunately, can be a hater, right? Do something nice for your sibling. Maybe take on one of their chores. I challenged them with this, and they started to see this thing kind of manifest in them where their confidence started to grow, where they didn't worry about what other people said about them, what other people felt about them, or being told no, okay? They focused on spreading positivity, okay? Now, that was a very interesting one because eventually sometimes it actually doesn't always work out that way where it works out favorable. Sometimes we're going to face adversity. Sometimes we're going to face defeat. We're not always going to win. But there's nothing wrong with that. We got to keep going. We got to keep driving, right? One of my songs is titled "Keep Pushing." Okay, it's kind of a double meaning behind it, right? Because pushing is an analogy. And when you keep pushing, I just got to keep driving forward. You just got to keep driving forward. I'm sorry, I didn't mean analogy. I mean an acronym. And the acronym for pushing is pray until something happens, right? So whether it's spiritually or whether it's physically, we got to keep moving forward, okay? Now, when we encounter people, we spoke on this earlier, when we encounter certain people along the way, we can't let them discourage us, but then we also can't let them encourage us too much where we lose our focus, right? Because it works both ways, okay? Someone can talk to us, someone can do things to us to discourage us and keep us from moving forward, but then we can also become a victim of praise as well, okay? People can pat you on your back a little bit too much and you start to feel good about yourself, right? You start to say, hey, I got this, but you lose focus because you're stuck in that moment. You got to keep going forward. There's a bigger goal at hand, okay? You got to get used to winning. You got to get used to facing adversity or challenges, okay? And then also don't get in your own way, okay? Some of us find, I don't know where we find it, but some of us find ways to stump ourselves, right? We find a way to stop ourselves from going forward, whether we get lazy, whether we say it's too hard, whether we say, you know what, I don't feel like it today. It's -30, I'm not doing it, right? Don't let it stop you. In Atlanta, our weather is at the other extreme. We get 100-degree weather with humidity. So you can just walk outside and you just start sweating. You have to go back in and change your clothes. You haven't been outside for an hour, right? So that humidity can stop you from wanting to go and do what it is you need to do. Get out of your own way. Also, the same people that started out in your journey with you, helping you to build your foundation, they're probably not going to be the same people that are going to cross the finish line with you. It happens. There's no negativity associated with it. There's nothing bad about it, but it happens, okay? It's called growth and it's called maturity, right? On our journeys, we're going to have people along the way in different areas that are going to help us get to that next checkpoint along the way, okay? So when you outgrow people or people actually outgrow you, there's no offense, right? No hard feelings. We got to keep moving, all right? But then we'll also have people that don't want you to succeed at all, okay? This is where we face those challenges that we've spoken about within this whole Make It Awkward conference. We have bullying, there's gender bias, there's just people out there that are just haters. They live in siloed worlds that don't understand the world outside of their little silo, right? Me, I'm a very confident person, so it takes a lot to break my spirit, okay? I want to share that confidence with you guys. You guys were given a purpose. We're all here for a reason, right? Not just in this room, but we're here on earth for a reason. We have a contribution to make, okay? Now, if somebody's trying to stop you from that contribution, that's because they have their own insecurities and they're trying to project those insecurities on you, okay? You don't have to carry their baggage. You have your own, okay? When you board the airplane, they say one carry-on, right? One carry-on. Right? So you don't have to carry anybody else's luggage. They can carry their own. There's space in the overhead and under their seat for it. Okay? So again, you were put here for a purpose. Let's keep moving forward, right? I interact with young adults, youth, teens, tweens, and children on a regular basis via social media, Skype, whatever it is. I'll be around afterwards. If you guys are facing challenges, if you guys need to understand how to overcome a person, whether it's a person that maybe you don't understand why they're here in your life, right? Why they're making things hard for you, whether it's a mental, just something mental that you don't understand. Maybe you have your own insecurity, right? Let's talk about it. Let's overcome it. Let's find a solution because there's one, right? Again, and these people that don't want us to succeed, I need by a show of hand because I know I can't be, if I'm the only one, I'm going to go crazy, right? But there's people that exist that like to find a problem for every solution. It doesn't matter what you bring to the table, they find a problem with it, right? I don't know if you guys have been following this Make It Awkward conference in social media. What Jesse and Julie are doing here is groundbreaking. This is amazing. But you find people trying to find a problem with it. There isn't one. There isn't. Stop. Right? So whether you're in school, you're trying to get achieve a straight A GPA. I'm not sure if the grading scale is the same, but a 4.0 GPA. There's going to be somebody that's going to try to distract you from studying. Somebody's going to try to distract you from achieving that goal. Hey, let's go party. No, I got to study. Oh, you're lame, right? Yep, I'm lame. Okay. Now, I probably shouldn't say this, but I think I need to say this because I think you guys should understand this. In high school, middle school, some of them guys are mean. I'll just put it out there. They're mean, right? Now, there's this like hierarchy, like the cool kids, you know, then you have like the band, you have the theater, the jocks, you know, and then you have those that they consider not cool or not in the in crowd, right? Now, what I've come to find out is these cool folk, after high school, they start to come down a little bit. And these people that were considered not cool or lame or the outcasts, they start to rise, okay? Now, in the state of Georgia in football, there's a rivalry between the University of Georgia and Georgia Tech. Now, the Georgia Tech football team struggles to beat the University of Georgia football team. But the saying, and this is the part that I probably shouldn't say, but I got to say it. So the saying that the Georgia Tech, because they can't beat them in football, what they say is, hey, we're not worried. You guys are going to work for us one day, right? So check this out. You guys are onto something at a young age, okay? So these people that have these insecurities, they're not doing anything with themselves. They're projecting their insecurities on you, okay? They're going to be the ones that are going to be looking to you later on in life to help them. But this is the kicker. I don't need you to take that as an opportunity to say, I told you so, or to seek revenge. This is your opportunity to show them a better way, okay? This is your opportunity to extend that olive branch and help them become better, okay? So going back to the exercise we did with Brittany and Olivia, okay, everybody's not going to be receptive to your idea. Everybody's not going to understand it. You're going to face rejection, okay? Me, I'll be honest, I was terrified of rejection, especially from girls. So I just didn't talk to them. You're not going to tell me no. Nope, not even going to create the opportunity. But, you know, as I got older and I started to grow a little confidence, you know, I was the starting quarterback for my high school football team. And, hey, girls like me. Maybe they won't say no. So I started to grow a little confidence, and I overcame that fear of rejection, okay? And that led to another and another. So now I'm able to go up and talk to people, engage in conversations, whether they want to have a conversation or not. If you don't want to talk to me, fine, I'll talk. You just listen, right? I'm not afraid. I don't fear rejection, right? Everybody's not going to agree with you, okay? Again, Olivia came and Brittany came up short in one crowd, but they were able to be successful in others. There was one of my coach, the same track coach that I was telling you guys about earlier, you know, he explained something to me. Resistance creates strength, okay? If you think about it from an athletic perspective, when you lift weights, you do bench press, you do push-ups. Eventually, you're going against resistance, whether it's your own body weight or whether it's weights. You're creating strength. And with that being said, I need another volunteer. There's something, I'm being a little bit prejudiced here. I need this young gentleman in the back, right there. Come on up here. Give him a hand, everybody. All right, and I do apologize. I did want to have a young man for this particular piece. So no offense, young ladies, but you'll see why here in a second. All right, what's your name, buddy?
Cameron.
Say hi, Cameron. Where you from?
Edmonton.
All right, another one that lives here in this cold place. All right. I like the sweatshirt, man. It's nice. All right, so Cameron, I got a challenge for you, okay? Can you do push-ups? How many can you do? At one time? All right, so he can do 36 push-ups at one sitting. All right? I got a challenge for you. 50. 50. All right? Let's go. Let's cheer them on. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Let's go. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Let's go. 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. At least give me one more, 36. Ah, good job. Give him a round of applause. Good job, man. Good job. Stay here, stay here, stay here. Don't go nowhere. So hold on. How do you feel?
My arms are tired.
Your arms are tired? How does your chest feel, though?
Good.
You feel like He-Man right now, right?
Yes, yeah.
So check this out. He failed. He didn't get 50, but he feels good. You notice that? His chest poking out, he's feeling good, got a little swagger about himself. Right? You see that confidence? Again, I like to talk a lot, but sometimes it takes seeing is believing. He failed, right? But that resistance in those push-ups built strength. So now, I'm being a little bit of a prophet here. I challenge Cameron. Cameron's going to go home now, and he's going to practice. He's going to keep practicing, and he's going to get 50, and he's going to find a way to get in touch with me and say, bam, I got that 50. Am I right, Cameron? That's right. High five. Good job. Here you go. Good job. So again, failure, adversity, it's healthy. It can be healthy. It's a test of strength, character, perseverance, right? Will it hurt a little bit? Yeah, ask Cameron, his arms hurt. Right? Will it be easy? Probably not, but it can eventually with repetition and practice, right? Will you want to give up? We saw Cameron. There was times where he wanted to stop when he was around 20, but he kept going and got to 36. That was pretty amazing, right? And then also, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Those mistakes are what's going to help us get to the next level in our journey, okay? When I played football for pretty much my entire upbringing, and my coach used to always tell me, if you're going to make a mistake, make the mistake going full speed, okay? If you're going to make the mistake, make it going full speed. Don't be hesitant. Now, I don't necessarily know if this will happen in real life, but on the football field, if I make a mistake and I say, dag, and I stop, somebody's going to come knock me silly. But however, if I make a mistake, it's just keep going, okay? Don't sit there and dwell in it. Don't sit there and sulk in it in pity. Keep going, okay? Because remember, we got a core, we got a foundation that we can always go back to. I know a lot of you guys are familiar with computers. Okay? When your computer's acting up or it starts making mistakes and getting faulty, what do? We restart it, we reboot it, and it goes back to its foundation. It goes back to its starting point. And then if it's really acting up, we can actually go back to a restart date, okay, before everything started to happen. Like if you get a virus, you can actually go back to prior to when that virus came, and you start all over again. And then you apply the lessons learned as you go forward. Right? See how that works? So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is, the last thing I want to talk about is patience, okay? I know I touched on it a little earlier, but I want to really hammer patience home. Things are not going to happen right away. I'm sorry. Time works everything, okay? Now, anybody in here like to cook? All right, I need addresses before I leave. So when you're cooking something, there's a recipe normally associated with what you're cooking. The recipe gives you the ingredients necessary, tells you how to prepare it, and then it also speaks to the prep time and the cook time, okay? So this recipe says it'll be ready in 30 minutes, right? So while you're preparing it, while you're doing the prep, and then when you stick it in the oven or you're cooking on the stovetop, that 30 minutes doesn't necessarily require patience because the recipe said 30 minutes. Now, if you're cooking for others, they may grow impatient because they're hungry and, they're ready to eat, but they're not a part of this process. Now, where patience kicks in is after that 30 minutes of the process that you just went through, if the meal is not ready yet. That's where the patience comes in. Do we get frustrated? No. We go back and we find out what we need to fix. Can we get frustrated? Absolutely. But again, we have to trust the process. Okay? So then once we move forward and understand that things take time to make, and then once we go through the process, sometimes it takes a little bit of patience, right? Because you go through and you're like, all right, I did that, now what? You got to be patient. Okay? So with that being said, I want to move forward into, we were patient, and now let's move forward into victory. Everybody give a round of applause for victory. We're successful, right? We had success. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here because, in actuality, I don't want us to be comfortable operating in success. Okay? I don't want us to get comfortable there. We become comfortable, we get complacent, and we get sidetracked. We get in our own way. We get the big head. And I'm the first person to tell you it happened to me. I came into Morehouse College as a freshman as an All-American sprinter. I was kicking butt my freshman and sophomore year. Head got a little bit big, and I stopped training. Okay? I stopped training because I figured I had this thing all figured out. And then that's when my decline started. Started getting injuries that I couldn't recover from, all because I was comfortable being successful. It's hard. It's hard enough to actually get to the top of the mountain or to achieve that trophy, but it's even harder to stay there. You have people tugging at you that want to knock you off. You have people coming for your spot, right? There's only one number one. When you look at a podium, there's only one number one spot. Only one person at a time can stand there. So there's going to be that second and third place person or someone who's not even on the podium that's trying to come and get your spot, right? So we got to keep moving forward. We got to keep driving, keep our heads down, and stay focused and keep moving forward, okay? And along the way, when we get that success, let's not forget to turn around and help somebody else come forward as well, okay? Let's make sure that we look back and say, hey, I went through that. It was very uncomfortable for me. I'm not used to operating outside of my comfort zone. Turn around and give them a hand and let them know it's going to be okay, all right? And then the last thing I'll say before we kind of open up for Q&A, because I definitely want to talk to you guys and maybe address some of your challenges you may be having one-on-one. Everything that we just spoke to takes us back to when I first started talking to you guys, when my coach used to have us, like I said, carrying people on their backs, bear crawling across the field, doing things to take us out of our comfort zones. Okay? Everything that I just spoke to along the way is a part of the process. They're going to make you uncomfortable. They're going to take you out of the normal. But if you're willing and able to step out of your comfort zones and be comfortable being uncomfortable, if you're okay with making things awkward for others, okay, while also being a little awkward yourself, right, then you're going to be successful. You're going to achieve your trophy. All right? Again, my name is David Driggers. You can follow me at The Shepherd Boy on IG, Twitter, Facebook. It was great being here with you guys today. And Jesse, I'll let you kind of kick that off. I'll be happy to talk to you guys one-on-one and have, some open dialogue here.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Right on, right on. Do we have, if we got any questions, we'll pass the mic around like we normally do. We have a few questions for Mr. Driggers. I found something really interesting. And I don't know if you noted this too. When my man Cam came up to do push-ups, he told you what he was going to do.
That's right.
And he did it.
That's right.
What happens if he would have said 40? He said 36. Do you know how hard that is to know where your body...
Yeah, that was amazing.
Right, or did he do what he said?
I think that was the key, Jesse.
Exactly.
He did what he said he was going to do. I think that is key. He gave me his word, and he stuck to it. And I was impressed. He wanted to stop, probably when he got to around 20. But he kept going. He persevered. Your body were outside of his comfort zone. He was feeling a little awkward, noodly.
But he said 36, and he gave you 36.
Spot on.
That's one more time, Cam. Nice work. Yeah. Question over here. Yeah, one sec. I'll bring it.
All right.
Hi. I just wanted to know what your hashtag meant on your sweater.
So I'm glad you asked. Thank you. That was the whole point of me wearing it. So my first single was entitled Repping for the Kingdom. So it's hashtag Repping for the Kingdom, representing God's kingdom. So I want to make sure, that's right, amen. I want to make sure when I wear this, when I post things on social media, I live by this hashtag. So it's not about what I may rap about on the record, what I say, up here in front of you guys, but I want to make sure my actions speak towards representing God's kingdom.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
What do you have for advice for forgiveness? Like you said earlier that your coworker didn't want you to be successful and so on and so forth, but you still went ahead and did something nice for him. What other way would have worked in a way to forgive this person in order to continue to do what you got to do?
Good question. So the way I deal with that is when you're forced to forgive people, no matter what they did to you, the thing is that person may not even know that they're doing something to you. That feeling, they don't have it, you have it. That anger, that resentment, or that buildup that they've caused, you have it. If you don't forgive them and move on, that's going to manifest and sit in you until you decide to. This thing can start to grow and weigh heavy on you and stop you from moving forward. The moment you decide to let it go, whether by addressing it with that person or by just moving on, right? Says, you know what, I'm not going to let this defeat me. I'm not, as Quentin Aaron said, I'm not going to give this power. You're able to let that weight go and move forward. So all I can say is don't allow that to manifest in you because you're the one carrying that burden. That person that put that burden on you, they don't have it anymore. So it's all up to you. That's the best way that I can answer that.
I got another one over here, David.
You talked about sticking to your core. When do you know to try a different thing or try new things?
Great. That was a great question, actually. Great ask. So when you look at your core, I try to define my core as my starting point or my foundation. Now, when you have that foundation, just think about a house, right? You can build up, you can build out, you can build at an angle, okay? So those are examples of trying new things, okay? But when you stick to your core and those fundamental teachings or fundamental understandings, you always have that starting point, okay? When you make a mistake, you don't have to go all the way back to zero. Or if you do have to go back to zero, you know where to start from. So instead of just throwing things at the wall and see what sticks, you waste a lot of time doing that when you don't have that fundamental foundation. And then you're also, when you don't have that foundation, you're open to confusion. You know, your friends sitting on this row here, each one of them can tell you the sky is a different color. But if you don't have that fundamental, you're not going to know what to believe. Does that help?
Yeah.
Great,
we got
thank
another
you.
one on this side. Thanks, Dave.
So you have social media, and people have haters on social media. And so how would you deal with hate that you get online and stuff like that?
So great question, and I got a good answer for you. So you have two options, okay? You can, when they go low, you go high. Maybe ignore it or just use it as fuel for motivation. Or there's this neat feature called the block button.
It's true. Yeah,
there you go.
Another one right here.
All right. So you talked about the 3 pillars, right? So how do you apply the 3 pillars to your lifestyle?
Awesome. So just as I spoke, and when you say the 3 pillars, were you talking about the core, the spirituality, the physical, and the mental? All right. So spiritually, as I stated, I'm a Christian, so I read a lot, right? I stick to, for me, the Bible is truth. Okay, that's my single source of truth. So whatever I hear, anything that's contrary, I don't act on it until I get further clarification. Okay, even though I may hear something contrary to what the Bible says, let's have a conversation about it. Help me to understand. I want to listen because I want to make sure my mindset is that of an open mind and that I understand where you're coming from so you and I can come to an agreement. From a physical perspective, I work out 4 to 5 times a week, right? And then mentally, they kind of tie into my spiritual. That's where I get my mental is where my mental is where I get from my spiritual and then also from my physical. It's times where I get to just clear my head and prepare myself for what's to come. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
I got another one right here.
Well, you were talking about making awkward normal. Have you ever kind of used that in your daily life, like in situations that have happened to you?
Like, I'm probably one of the most awkward people you're going to ever meet. Like, I operate outside of my comfort zone daily. Going back to those 3 pillars, challenging myself to become better and more versed in Scripture in the Bible, challenging myself in the gym, doing things, pushing my body beyond what I believe that I can do, right? And then that's where that mental toughness comes in as well. For example, like, I don't mean to boast or brag, but when I crossed the 300 bench press pound plateau, mentally, that did a lot for me. Like, that's not something a lot of people can do, but when I achieved that goal, I said, you know what? I know what it feels like to operate outside of my comfort zone, so I continue to push that boundary on a daily basis. So my awkward is now normal.
So I'm on a sports team in my school, and me and one of my teammates, we sort of are haters to each other. Do you have any advice on how to deal with that?
You said you're haters to each other?
Yes.
Hold on, what sport do you play?
Cheerleading.
No, it's fun. That is so funny. My she's actually at a cheerleading competition right now, and we literally just had this same conversation. OMG. So the piece of advice that I have for you is to understand the basis of why you guys are hating on each other. For one, you're on a team. You guys have a common goal. Is this thing that you guys are hating on each other about, is it going to help you achieve this ultimate team goal? If not, you got to let it go. You got to find a way to work through it. I don't care if it's not talking and dealing with one another outside of the cheerleading, the cheerleading environment, until you guys can come, so one of you guys can step up and be the bigger person, right? And this is an opportunity for you to make it awkward, not only for her, but for yourself. Step outside of your normal comfort zone of what they call being petty, right? And be the bigger person. So there's 2 opportunities for you guys to make it awkward. One, for you to step out of your normal and step out of your comfort zone, right, of being petty, and then also making it awkward for her to be able to speak to whatever it is that's making you guys have a conflict. All right. 2 more.
I play tennis, and sometimes I get a little bit of hate because some people think that, like, because I'm a girl, I won't do as well in tennis. Do you have any advice for that?
Right. So I don't necessarily have advice for you, but I have examples. You look at some of the top tennis players in the world. Right now, when it comes to men, there's about 2 or 3 that they talk about. But when it comes to women, there's so many women out there that they talk about being successful tennis players. You use that as motivation, and you tell those guys that say that you can't do it, tell them line up on the other side of the net, and you kick their butts.
What's your favorite, like, Bible verse?
Oh, man. Do I have to have one? Can I give you 2?
Okay.
All right, so my first one was, and I actually have this one. This was my first tattoo as well. 2 Samuel 5:10 reads, "And David went on to become great, and the Lord was with him." You know, my name's David, so I want to go on to become great in God's kingdom, and I know he's going to be with me, so that gives me confidence. My second one is one that was preached at, or it was a part of the eulogy at one of my grandmother's funeral. It's 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7, and it reads, "God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind." So that also helps to my confidence as well, because I believe that God has a purpose for me and intended for me, and a part of that purpose does not include fear. I'm okay with operating outside of my comfort zone because I know I'm working according to God's plan, and he's going to have my back.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you, Edmonton. Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you, Dave. we haven't quite yet. Real quick too, just it's funny when you were saying being awkward, being comfortable.
Yeah.
It reminded me of something that I had heard. How many people here know how lobsters grow? How they grow? Let me tell you what happens. So a lobster, they don't start big, giant claws like yeah. They're little guys, but their shell's still hard. And so then what they do is they have to actually shed that exoskeleton and be super vulnerable, wide open. So many bad things could happen to them, and they go hide under a rock. They go back to their core, and then they grow a bigger shell that they can grow into. And they do this over and 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 over. They keep having to shed what's comfortable to be super vulnerable, super open, and then they have to find a place to survive until they can grow their bigger shell. And that's how they grow. And this whole thing is like, lobsters have got it. Dave's got it, and now we all get it. One more time, Dave.
Thank you, guys. I think I'm going to have to include that lobster analogy in my next presentation. I like that.
That was awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.